Established in 1565, St. Augustine, Florida is the oldest continuously occupied European settlement in the continental United States. By the time the first English settlers arrived in Jamestown, Virginia, the Spanish in St. Augustine already had an organized community for almost 50 years. Join me in learning what made this territory so valuable to European superpowers and pirates alike, and how the Spanish were able to protect it for centuries. Our menu today includes garlic shrimp, classic bean stew, and a watermelon gazpacho. Cuisine that reflects the rich Spanish heritage that is still present in the city today. All for a taste of history. Wow, spectacular. John, so good to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
The greatest chef of St. Augustine, I tell you. I'm looking forward to today. You got a lot on your plate here.
I do. I'm the executive chef for the Colonial Quarter property here in downtown St. Augustine. It's a history museum. We have 3 restaurants on property.
And I can speak to your quality of the food.
Oh, thank you.
I ate here yesterday. Maybe a little too much,
Yes.
actually. So, John, we got a great menu that you researched that really lays tribute to the early settlers that started St. Augustine in 1565. So we're starting off with what we call today, in our world, tapas. But this was actually provision necessary for the settlers to come over here because they didn't know what to expect.
Right.
So the ham would be hanging in the rafters, the chorizo would be hanging in the rafters, the cheese actually gets only better. And the dried food was a natural because remember, they had no fresh vegetables after a while, maybe a week or so sailing in. So go ahead, chef. So we're going to cut up this unbelievable, by now everybody knows jamón de serrano.
Yes, it's salt-cured, dry-aged ham. So we'll just slice. Nice piece here.
Oh, look at that. Look, oh. And this one you want to cut it as fine as you can.
Yes.
Let me try this one here. Wow. It's only one word. It's called spectacular. It's awesome.
So we're going to go ahead and create a nice tapas board here. So I'm going to cut some more pieces of jamón serrano. We'll do the rope chorizo, our manchego.
And garnish it up.
We'll garnish it with our dried fruit and olives.
Now the only thing, like I said to you earlier, quick, is that they would have not have cost the bread because this bread would have not survived the humidity of a ship. They would have most likely any kind of hardtack crackers, stuff like that.
So this is a nice dried chorizo, semi-dry chorizo. It's all pork sausage, and it uses smoked paprika. That's that nice, beautiful, bright red color that you have there.
And also they have longevity. You could keep them, I don't know, I mean, it's forever, almost. And the cheese, the manchego, it's a ship's milk, right?
Yeah.
It's again a very unique flavor, you know, when you think about it.
Guava paste is fantastic with it.
And again, it would travel extremely well. Oh, God, it's beautiful. The only thing missing is a glass of wine.
Yes. All right, so we garnish the board real quick with some beautiful dried fruit. We have some nice dried apricot, some nice dried peaches, some nice black mission figs, and some nice Spanish country olives.
Manchetta over here. Yep. There goes the chorizo, and obviously the jamón de serrano. It's so interesting that it's now hot again. Just imagine way back when it was a necessity.
Yes.
Now it's a luxury.
Yes.
Before you ran off here, this has my name on it, didn't you? You said this is for Walter Staib.
There it is.
Thank you.
Claimed for the Spanish in 1513 by famed explorer Juan Ponce de León, Florida's central location between New Spain and the mainland was critical, despite the early struggles in settlement.
Strategically, Florida is very important in the defense of the treasure fleets. They are bringing back a lot of loot which is being sold at a profit in Europe. To protect it, they needed Florida to be in the hands of the Spanish crown. So after 1513, there was 53 years of failed settlements, 9 attempts and explorations here in Florida. In 1565, St. Augustine was the first successful, first permanent settlement here in Florida. Pedro Menendez de Avilés had been Captain General of the treasure fleets for 15 years. He knew the Caribbean very well, he knew Florida very well, and he didn't have much hope in it at all as a place to have a successful settlement. In fact, he told Philip II, it is a graveyard of hope. But when his son Juan was shipwrecked in Florida, he quickly changed his tune, and that's what brought him here in 1565.
When Menendez arrived in present-day St. Augustine, there was already a threat from French settlers nearby. So it was fortunate for the Spanish that relations with the natives were friendly, at least at first.
The indigenous people that were here prior to the arrival of the Spanish were the Timucua language group. And archaeological evidence suggests that they were here at least 4,000 years, possibly 6,000 years before the arrival of the Spanish.
Friendly relations with the natives were eventually ill-fated. The consistent threats from rival European superpowers also posed danger to the newly established colony. Soon after settling, French Huguenots near present-day Jacksonville attempted to attack St. Augustine. However, when a hurricane caught them off guard, Menendez had the perfect opportunity to seize their sparsely manned Fort Caroline, which he did with extreme prejudice.
A third of the French men of fighting age had been killed or executed, and the question of dominance or Spanish Florida was settled then and there.
France never posed a serious threat in the territory ever again. However, conflict with the British would ensue for decades to come.
Por España!
Raids from British pirates saw the city burn to the ground more than once, yet it was never taken. Florida became part of the United States in 1821, but the Spanish history in what is now the oldest permanent European settlement in America lives on.
So, Chef John, we're going to do one now, which is actually most likely they never had on the ship until they landed over here.
Correct. This is one of the biggest shrimping areas in the United States. Mayport shrimp is extremely famous for their beautiful white shrimp, East Coast white shrimp. For this dish, we're going to leave the tail on.
Yep.
But what you want to do is score the top of the shell like so.
Yep, and take out the, yep.
And take out the vein. So we'll peel like here, take those legs off. If there's anything in the vein right there, discard that.
And I think the most important thing for people to realize, don't ever overcook the shrimp. It's got to be opaque.
Yes.
An expensive shrimp like that, and you cook the, you know.
Well, it continues to cook after you've taken it from the flames.
This has been heating up for the last 45 minutes. The beautiful charcoal in there. Take it off the fire. So this is going to be going extremely hot.
Extra virgin olive oil, Spanish, of course. Whole garlic clove.
There we go.
We have some nice dried red chili.
Look at that, look at that.
Beautiful.
Huh? What do you think about that?
Beautiful.
Huh?
Some sherry vinegar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful flavor. Salt. All right.
It's a little lemon zest and chopped parsley.
How do you like to cook in a wrought iron pot, huh? A lot of firepower there.
Fast and furious. Parsley leaves.
Did we put pepper in it already, a little bit?
Yeah, we can finish though with some more pepper.
Figure that. Can I have the honor?
Oh, absolutely. How was it, Chef?
Oh. So simple. So good though.
Best things
Give it
are.
up. Man, you got the flavor of the olive oil, the sherry vinegar, and the garlic. It pleases your palate. Beautiful.
Chef, I'd like to welcome you this evening to the Castillo de San Marcos National Monument, St. Augustine, Florida.
You have no idea. I've been anticipating this moment for a long time.
What you see here today, 41 years to build, 347 years old, 95% original.
The city was founded in 1565. When did the Castillo come about?
This is fortification number 10. First 9 forts were made of wood, burned by an Indian arrow, eaten by termites, washed away, rotted away. The Spanish were here for 107 years before they built this stone fortification. In the year 1668, we were attacked by none other than Robert Searles. He was a British pirate, and he hated the Spanish, and he hated their religion. He killed 60 upon arrival. He took 70 as hostages. The rest of us, you and me, we fled to the woods off to the west for the fear of our lives of our loved ones. As a result of that attack, Queen Marianas of Spain, she authorizes the funding, the construction of this very stone fort. She needs something permanent because the British are starting to move south.
What made this fort so special and so strong?
The first phase of construction took 23 years. Made out of coquina, translates into tiny shells. And there's only 2 buildings in the world made out of this stone. Our fortification here, the Castillo de San Marcos National Monument, our sister fort, 14 miles south, Fort Matanzas. As a sedimentary stone, they would cut large blocks out of it. When you expose it to the atmosphere, the water percolates out of it. It's replaced by microscopic air pockets. It's a giant piece of styrofoam, so strong that the cannonballs would bounce off.
Yeah, it's like, because if you take marble, one bullet, the marble splits apart.
Exactly, exactly. It would splinter. In 1702, when the British attacked us for the first time, they would write in their journals, we would launch a ball, we would hit the side curtain, it would bounce off and roll into the moat. Sometimes it would penetrate a few inches, sometimes a few feet. This fortification, even though it's seen a number of battles and skirmishes, have never lost the fight. It stands as a testament to peace, to security. It has stood the test of time.
So John, moving right along, what I see in front of me I already like.
Yes, beautiful pork products.
Oh yeah, and also natural protein. Think about the beans. You can live off the beans.
White bean, white kidney. We're gonna do a fabada asturiana, which is a white bean stew with chorizo rope sausage.
So the first step, chef, is you're gonna prep the protein.
We're gonna prep the proteins, cut this in half one time. Start this nice rope chorizo. We're gonna cut this into a few lengths right here.
And the onion goes in whole.
The onion goes in whole. We're just gonna take this skin off. Garlic clove, we're gonna do a whole head. We're gonna trim off the top right there, and we're just gonna simply peel back some of the outer skin. Leave a little bit on there just to leave it binded.
And the ham hock you throw in whole, right?
Yes.
I see you got something very expensive over here.
Yes, we have saffron flour.
More expensive than gold.
Yeah.
I got the duchy nice and hot on the fire. We're gonna get our tray over and start simmering all the stuff together, top it off with stock, and take a snooze. Chef, it's an amazing hardwood charcoal you got here, and I'm told actually the tree that we're sitting under would make a fantastic charcoal.
Yes, it would. Oak wood burns hot.
Yeah, that's I think it's beautiful though. So basically, you got the oil.
Yep, we have extra virgin olive oil.
Look at that.
Yep. Add our
goodbye
bacon.
bacon. Let's fry me a couple eggs with that. Look at that. Turn it over. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. We got a great fire going here. Ham hock. The smell out of that, huh?
Beautiful.
When I tell people there should be smell of it, seriously, look at that here. I got it. That's good. Perfect. The white beans. Important to know is that you always want to soak them overnight.
Yes.
Listen to that, huh? That's the kind of sound I like.
They're dancing.
Oh yeah, big time. Now we put the onion right in there.
Onion.
Garlic. The Spanish paprika.
Our beautiful saffron.
Sure.
And our nice dry chorizo.
Now, One very important point to people at home if they want to make that, be very careful. Once the paprika goes in, it burns really quick. Yes. So it's one stir, liquid on it, and let it cook away. There we go.
Beautiful red color.
I like when the plan works out, John.
It all comes together nicely.
It was a quick 40 minutes, huh?
Yes, it was.
Now we got the plate already here when we put it in the bowl. So it's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. You sure you're not one of those guys from 1565? Beautiful flavor. And so Spanish. And so beautiful.
Now the color is gorgeous. Beautiful deep orange.
The flavor is unbelievable. The beans are just cooked right. It's so much harmony in there. It's beautiful. It's just, I can't wait.
It serves the soul for sure.
It's exactly right. So chef is going to fish out the large pieces?
Yes.
That's what I'm waiting for. Right there.
That's the good one.
You already know what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah. That's what I call ultimate comfort food.
Nice coarse chunks right here.
Let me see this piece right there.
Got your name on it?
I want to make sure that you cut it properly. Let me look here. Oh, spectacular flavor.
It goes right back into our stew. Look at that come right off the bone like that. Just gonna mix it all together here, reincorporate everything. A little bit of salt, some cracked black pepper, a little extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of sherry vinegar to brighten up all that earthy flavor that we have going on. A little bit of green. Then we're ready to serve.
Yep. I'm ready, chef. The flavor is just mind-boggling. Just comes right up. Oh! The protein ties together the beans, the saffron, the paprika. And I think that kicks it right up is that sherry vinegar in the end.
Brightens everything up, yes.
Unbelievable. The pursuit of immortality is something that entices the imagination. For Juan Ponce de Leon, the legend of the search for the fountain of youth has become synonymous with his name, despite no hard evidence supporting this storied myth. But that won't stop me from looking. Oh, it's settling in. Gosh. I feel like 35. Historians and archaeologists might have never found the real magical water, but fairly recent discoveries at the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park have uncovered this location to be the exact spot in 1565 where Pedro Menendez started the very first permanent settlement in the United States.
Chef, welcome to the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park. My name is Daniel.
Daniel, you have no idea how excited I am to be here. This is such an important site. The only thing I'm sorry about, it took me so long to get here, but I'm finally here.
You're here and that's what matters.
Yep. So tell me, you're going to show me a little something?
One of our demonstrations here is with the crossbow, or as the Spanish call it, a ballesta. Pedro Menendez knew there was still good use for this, and he brought 30 of these war bows with him. Now this is a target version, not the war bows that Pedro Menendez would have brought with him, which would have been much bigger. They used it for hunting here because they did have about 800 people. They had to make sure they didn't starve. They did have a matchlock firearm that wasn't very accurate. It was loud and it would scare off all the game. For the crossbows, they had good range, good accuracy, nearly silent. So good for hunting. It was a good backup weapon for that gun too. As you know, gunpowder doesn't work well in the rain, and when it rains, you still need to eat. So crossbow was handy for that as well.
Should have flamed there, no?
I could, yes. We have some tips over here on the barrel that will show you that there's one where you can actually light it on fire and shoot over and burn down a building. They won't let me use that here.
Sure.
All right, we're going to start with the stirrup, and just like with the stirrup on a horse and saddle, you put your foot in it, lean over, grab the string, and pull it up with both hands, and it locks right into the rolling nut. So that is all ready to go. We take our bolt, and you place this right in the groove. Take aim at my target.
Look at it, bullseye.
Pretty good.
Not bad for an old Spaniard.
Yes, thank you.
What's next? Well, I see. That's mandatory.
Absolutely. The datil pepper, iconic to St. Augustine. You see it in restaurants all around town. The Menorcans brought it over off the coast of Spain. It's quite hot pepper. It's very similar in heat to a habanero pepper, but it has a much brighter citrusy sort of flavor to it. It's not just all heat. It has a really great flavor profile.
But it's interesting to think that this pepper from this many years ago is still available here, and it becomes part of iconic in the recipe of St. Augustine.
Yes, it's very intrinsic and unique to St. Augustine. And honestly, it doesn't grow too well in other places.
So what you make it today is your version of a gazpacho?
We're gonna do a datil watermelon gazpacho. It's a really light summertime dish. It has a little body to it. We'll start off with our tomatoes, which you want kind of cored, so we'll just take the...
you don't deseed them, you just take the outside.
Just take the outside right there.
And you're going to do yours coarse, like the nowadays?
We're going to do a coarse one. Modern gazpachos, they use a blender to make it smooth.
But let me tell you something, this is so much prettier when it's all done. Some places when you put it all in the blender, everything puree together, it loses its flavor. And also, when you eat it, you want to be identifying each of the product that you have put in there. You know, I've never ever did gazpacho with watermelon, so I always learn something too.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do a little bit of onion.
Nice knife skills, John.
A little goofy with it.
Years of getting your butt kicked. You leave the skin on the cucumber or no?
Really, no.
That's smart. So you put cucumber and then a little bit of red pepper.
Yes.
Now the watermelon you cut fine too?
Those will be bigger chunks.
Bigger chunks.
Yeah.
So you make an almost what I would consider a beautiful relish.
More relish, yeah, in this form than it would be a...
That's nice though. I like
a gazpacho. All right, now we're gonna add some watermelon.
Now this is seedless one, right?
Yes.
That's gorgeous. Could you use any other melon too?
Sure. Cantaloupe's great. Honeydew, beautiful, nice ripe honeydew.
Look at that. You leave a whole pepper in there for me? That's what it is? trying to trick me?
Okay, now we'll add some beautiful fresh herbs. A few leaves of mint. So we'll do a nice long...
To make it a long chiffonade.
Yes. Do a nice clove of garlic. Pick out this nice pepper, beautiful one right here. We'll finish off with some extra virgin olive oil, sherry vinegar, a little touch of cumin for a nice earthy base to this dish, a little salt, a couple cracked pepper, and then we'll just mix it up.
Gorgeous. Oh, now the flavor comes out, huh? Oh, that's so beautiful.
Top it off with a couple of nice croutons and some fresh herbs.
Perfect. Gorgeous. Now I gotta taste this one here. Wow. John, I'm not a gazpacho guy, but this one rocks. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. Excellent done.
Thank you.
Give it up, man.
Thank you.
So, John, we could not finish this elaborate, spectacular menu without a taste of what you making me there?
We have a Spanish hot chocolate here. Just really nice dark chocolate pudding, if you will. Some heavy cream and some nice smoked paprika on top.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chocolate was and still is the one of those unbelievable healthy things in moderation, as you know. So that's a beautiful drink. It's a beautiful drink for a beautiful finale. You did a hell of a job.
Thank you, Chef.
I think the Spaniards will be proud of you. Being here cooking since 1565. What do you think?
I hope
drink
so.
to that?
Cheers.
All this for a fantastic taste of history celebrating 1565 in St. Augustine.